Well, hello there. This is Michael from Make It WordPress again, and we're going to look into another control panel. Just a small introduction. Where I am? I'm Michael, and I'm on the quest to find the best of WordPress. And one of these aspects is finding the best hosting. Excuse me. Well, there are several options for WordPress hosting, and one of them is the use of control panels. And control panels are aimed at professional WordPress professionals, professional developers, and software engineers. But so to say, today we're looking into Ploy.io, which is another control panel, and I will be looking if this is a great platform to run WordPress on. So what is Ploy.io? Currently, we're looking at their website. Ploy.io is a control panel which allows you to run applications on a server of your own liking, on a virtual private server of your own liking. So there are a lot of VPS providers out there at which you can buy your own server, and obviously on this server you can run a website or an application. So if you do this manually, you would require some system administration skills to be able to run applications on such a server, and this will take a lot of time for tasks that are repetitive. So this is where control panels come in. Control panels such as Ploy.io. These panels make it a lot more easy to manage your servers and also install applications such as WordPress in one click. So here we are. These are some of the features of Ploy. It makes this very easy to manage sites and servers. They have load balancing incorporated, so you can distribute traffic over multiple servers. They also have support for some applications out of the box, and there are a couple of other more interesting features which we will also talk about when we go through the panel. So let's go and just have a small review of the pricing levels of Ploy. So there is a free subscription which allows you to run Ploy on one server with one domain, and not all of the features are of course incorporated. And as you can see, the most expensive pricing is 30 monthly. This is actually great for such a servers. And they have also some chats, some sales chats, obviously. So, well, enough talk about the pricing. It doesn't make that much sense if you don't show what Ploy actually does. So let's go ahead to the panel. And there we are. This is the panel of Ploy. So if you arrive at Ploy, you will see these things. There are a couple of actions you can do. So you create a server. There's an overview of your servers. You can add SSH keys to access your servers. Some scripts which can be executed on a server of your liking. Very useful to automate things. You can manage your subscription, and of course, you can also have contact with some of the support. You also see there the usage. This is the usage of one of the servers I'm running and some of the events that happened. So let's go to one of the tabs over there, which is the management tabs by which you can add servers. And there's a script tab. And there are some other items, but let's go to servers. I have one server running here, and one thing I have to mention is that you need an external VPS provider. For example, a company like DigitalOcean, Vultr or Upcloud, which will provide the server. And on this server, you can install Ploy, which will make the management of this server a lot more easy. So let's just go ahead and see what creating a server looks like. Can be done by hitting the Create a Server button in here. I already set up Upcloud as a default provider. Let's hit it. And I can set up the type of server. You can even choose to set up a load balancer, a database server, a Redis server, or a storage server. But for the sake of this video, I'll just do the normal server. You can give it a name. You can choose one of the plans that are supported by Upcloud. As you can see, I already made a connection to Upcloud, and this can be done through the account settings, which I will discuss later. You can choose a region where the server is located, the kind of web server, which is only Nginx, the PHP version, and of course the database version. So creating a server actually takes around 15 minutes. So we won't go through this process now, but go back to the server I already deployed. It will save us some time. So I will just go back in here. And there we are. We have my test server running there. Let's just click it and see what happens. So if I click the server, this will open the server panel. And there are a couple of tabs you can see in here by which you can manage your server. I didn't add any site yet, we will do in a minute. So you can also see how easy it is to install WordPress on Ploy. But first, we will look in some of the features, some of the tabs by which you can manage this server. So let's go to the PHP settings tab where you can configure some of the most important PHP settings, such as the upload file size, the memory limit, and execution time. You can also set different versions as default and also enable the OP cache, which improves the PHP performance. Also great if you want to have a better performance for WordPress. There's a MySQL tab in which you can add new databases. You can add cron jobs for your server. Very useful if you want to use the cron jobs of WordPress, but in a better way as usual. It can be done here. There is a tab for network rules where you can create new firewall rules to limit trafficking to certain ports. And by default, the port for the web server and the SSH access are enabled, so people can access the server over HTTP or HTTPS. And of course, you can use SSH to log into your server, and SSH is an encryption key which is used to log into servers. So if you're already working with server management, logging in, you know what an SSH is. But just for the sake of it, you can add them here, any SSH key. Well, I didn't add any in here yet, but it's possible to add them here. You can run daemons in here. There are some monitoring available, and this will show the usage of your server over time. I did some load testing before, and as you can see here, during the period when I did the load testing, we had some major spikes in the usage of the CPU. This has been pretty constant, and also some RAM usage. So it's also possible to set up notifications if the usage is over a certain percentage, which is great. And actually notifications can be sent over email or to Slack or even to Telegram. So let's go back to our actual server. Furthermore, there are a couple of management possibilities for your server. You can restart your services if something goes stale, and furthermore, it's possible to install phpMyAdmin to administrate your databases on the server. And at last, as you saw on the main screen of the server, I'm going a bit rapidly because it's probably a lot of information to take in, but I want to give you a good overview of Ploy in a not too long video. As you can see here, Ploy installs packages, software packages you need to run a server and also to run WordPress on your server successfully. And it will automatically update security updates, but other packages it won't automatically update by default, but you can still set up automatic update under the Manage tab. And this is done in here. You can select an interval and also channel to receive notifications on. So this is great to keep your server updated all the time. You don't have to manually log in to update packages on your server, but Deploy can do that for you. So it makes the administration, the server administration, a lot more easy. And this is actually the power of control panels. There are all these tasks. If you're a professional and if you're running servers or if you want to set up a hosting service, there are all these repetitive tasks you need to do, and the control panel makes it a lot easier. Furthermore, there is a meta tab in which you can find some of the server keys, some server information, as well as that you can delete the server. It will give a neatly pop-up, so it won't delete in an instant, which is great in the terms of usability. And at last, you can view your server logs, so everything that is done on Deploy, but you can also view your PHP or Nginx error and access logs, which is great. So here there are some errors on the worker connection and so forth. And there we are. We also have the access log and some other logs. So that having said that, the real power, of course, the real power of panel is to host applications, and of course, for this video, we want to run WordPress because, well, I'm running a WordPress related blog and I'm looking for the best hosting options of WordPress. And by the way, control panels are mainly used by WordPress professionals or web professionals and are particularly useful if you want to set up a hosting service for clients but don't want to do too much administration or pay the prices of a managed WordPress host, which are actually way more. Of course, you need to do some management of yourself, but control panel makes it a lot easier. It's also advised to have some server administration knowledge if things go really wrong if you're using control panels. Having said that, let's add a new testing domain so we can see how it looks to set up WordPress. So there we are. Let's hit hosted maybe WordPress. That will be our domain, and we will open advanced options. And the good thing is that we can create a new system user, which you give a separate SSH access for this application. We can also create a staging website, which is a development environment which can push updates to a live environment. And we will add the site now. And there we are. Those two websites are being added. As you can see, it goes in an instant. So let's hit our staging website, since on this we will be installing the WordPress. If we will click on the main website, we will get a message that this application is managed by the staging applications. So let's go back to the staging website. As you can see, there are a couple of tabs in here. These are also available at the staging site. So let's go there. So this is the staging website. There are a couple of options here. We will be installing WordPress, but the good thing is that you can also link this application to a Git repository. And each time you will push to this Git repository, the application will be updated. So this is really nice if you want to improve your development workflow. But for now, we will be installing WordPress, and there we are. We can let them we can have Ploy create a database for us. And let's install WordPress. There we are. WordPress is installing and it's installed. So we will be going to a WordPress installation in an instant. I just want to discuss a couple of the other tabs that are displayed in here. First, you have the queue tab, which is mainly used for Laravel queues. The Laravel is a framework for PHP. Of course, you can set up SSL for the given domain. Let's encrypt. For other existing certificates, there's a WordPress tab in which you can edit the WP config file. Pretty easy if you want to change your database settings or put on the debug settings and so forth. That's one of the things I really like about Ploy compared to, for example, Server Pilot or Ring Cloud, is that they have the things which you use the most already incorporated in the panel, and it's pretty friendly to use. The whole panel. The only thing I don't like is that you're clicking back and forth through applications and servers. But this is another example of how nicely this platform is set up. One other thing which is great is that you can set up redirects directly from the panel, so you don't need a plugin for it, but you can add redirects in here for the application, so you can redirect from one URL to another URL. Furthermore, there's a tab in which you can manage a couple of these things. You can set up file backups to Dropbox, Google Drive, or any other locations. By the way, it's also possible to do database backups. You can clone the site to another server. You can set up HTTP authentication, so there will be a password before the application. Add another domain to this application, so it will also support other domains while using the same folder on the server. And of course, you can edit your Nginx configuration. Furthermore, there's the Media tab, in which you can adjust some of the details for the project. Well, in this case, it's a WordPress project, but it's not really interesting. And you can also delete the site, and you can also access our logs on application level. Furthermore, you can also access the Nginx logs. There are now no logs in here yet because the application is just being set up. So that having said, let's go to the production tab. And the great thing in here is that we can manage our deployment to production. So what this will do is copy the files from staging.house.makeitwork.press to the live website. And for this, we actually also need to copy our WP config file to the live website. So we'll delete it here, but you can, in this area, you can add any files that need to be ignored. So it's also a pretty useful feature. And as you will see, this will also work in an instant. So let's hit deploy to production. And there we are. It's already deployed, so it goes pretty fast. And well, it looks also pretty neat. So let's go back to our servers and hit the main application, which is our live application. As you can see, we can also set up SSL redirects and other things in here for our live applications. So let's see if our WordPress is installed. So we can hit this and it will open up a new screen. And there we are, our WordPress installation screen. Let's continue. You can enter our title, our username, password. You can set up these basic things, and there we are. It doesn't take 5 minutes, it takes 20 seconds to install, so that is great. And we can log in. Let's log in, and there we are, WordPress is installed. So it's that easy to install WordPress on Ploy once you have it running on your server, of course. As you can see, the performance is pretty good. It loads almost in an instant. That's also because we are using a very good VPS provider called Upcloud, which has pretty fast servers. It installs some basic plugins and of course the standard posts and pages, which are default for each new WordPress installation. I also load tested Ploy. The performance is quite good, but it's not as good as control panels, which are tailored to WordPress, such as grid pane and spin up WP. That's a pity, but what I really like for this panel is the usability. As you can see, it looks neat. Actions are performed fast, and it's pretty easy to install a new WordPress installation. So let's go back to our control panel. So there we are again at our control panel, and well, actually, I went in fast forward through the whole of Ploy. I think it's a pretty neat control panel. It has some very nice features, such as the connection to a Git repository, easily installing WordPress, redirections in it, easily setting up a staging environment for WordPress. It has backups. It also has notification channels. Furthermore, the support is a bit limited. They have support over a ticket. And well, if you're okay with that, that's fine. But it would be nice if you also would have a chat option for instant replies. Most times I like to have chat support. The documentation is good, but on a technical level, so you need to be able to understand this from a technical perspective and have some knowledge about running applications and servers, but that makes sense because this is a control panel. And furthermore, they have an API. So the API makes it actually a lot easier to connect, deploy to an application that you want to build by your own. So you can, for example, develop a clients panel in which clients can add delete websites, and they will actually be using Ploy and the Ploy API. And this is a great feature. So, but let's just go through some of our account settings. As I said in the beginning of this video, there are 4 subscription levels. You can change them from your account, obviously. Of course, you can change your profile settings in here. You can link to one of the major Git repository providers. You can also link server providers. Here are linked Upcloud, but you can also add one of the other well-known cloud providers in here. Vultr is also a great one, especially since they have a high frequency compute program now. They have great fast service, in other words. Furthermore, you can add SSH keys related to your account, set up notification channels. So I can hook this to a Slack channel. In Slack, you can add webhooks. So each time Ploy has a notification, this will be appearing in your Slack application. If you set up this correctly, you need a webhook for it, and this is explained at the documentation of Slack. And for those who don't know, but then you have been living under a stone. Slack is a messaging and chat application, which is one of the most widely used ones. And there are also options to have notifications to your email address, to Telegram, Pushover, or Discord. Furthermore, you can set up AP keys to several services, Dropbox and Google Drive for your backups, Telegram for your notifications, and Cloudflare for your DNS. And this is actually great. You can link Cloudflare, which is a worldwide CDN and DNS and security platform, to Ploy, and this will automatically update the DNS of your domains added in applications to the right server, so you don't need to adapt them in Cloudflare itself. Furthermore, they support 2-factor authentication, which is, I think, Important if you're dealing with sensitive data running on servers, and a good security measure. There are a couple of some other settings which you can change. You can of course change the password and all these settings. You can see the past orders, and they also have a referral program by which you can get some extra days free. So actually, that was the overview of Ploy. So to conclude, Ploy, I think it's a promising platform for managing applications on your server. What I really do like is that they put the most important functions on front. The example I gave was the editing the WP config file. If you have a WordPress installation, it's pretty useful that you can edit it from the platform. They also have staging possibilities, Git integration, and furthermore, you can monitor the resources of your server. So I think it's a pretty good platform for serious professionals. Uh, one thing I found is that its performance is not as good as GridPane or SpinFWP, which are two control panels specifically designed for WordPress. But the performance is actually better than, for example, RunCloud, which I think is their major competitor. So if you have any questions, comments, if you did like this video or didn't like this video, please shout out to me. There is also a link in the description of this video to the elaborate review of this platform. And furthermore, I wish you a great day, morning, or evening. Thank you for watching, and until we meet again.